Imagine being hired to a wedding, only to realize that the guests aren't human. This is a terrifying true story of a Kawaii band that performed for Gens. In 1993, Nora was a very famous Kawaii singer who had a band consisting of 6 girls. They would often perform at weddings and parties all across the region. But one day, Nora had received a really strange call. The lady on the phone said, "Hello, is this the famous Nora?" Yeah. "Oh my god, I'm a very huge fan." Thank you. "My daughter's having a wedding and she's a very, very huge fan. I need you to come, I'll pay you double." And keep in mind, at the time, Nora was extremely famous. She would constantly get booked for events and weddings, and apart from that, it was her rest day. So Nora tells the lady, "Thank you so much, I appreciate it, but unfortunately, we're pretty booked, and apart from that, it's actually our rest day today." And the lady, being extremely eager, tells Nora, "Please, please, I beg you, if you don't come, my daughter's gonna want to cancel the whole wedding. I'll pay you double." So Nora ends up telling her, all right, let me talk to the band and I'll let you know." So Nora ends up telling the band, "Hey, I just got a last minute phone call. It's about a wedding that's last minute and they said they would pay us double. What do you guys think?" And the band tells Nora, "Hey Nora, it's up to you. If you want to do the party, we'll follow along." So Nora ends up accepting the offer, completely unaware that it would end up being the last performance of her whole career. When they first arrived, the band was amazed. The house was enormous, it was beautifully decorated, everything looked luxurious, clearly hosting a massive wedding celebration. The bride's mother, who was initially on the phone, ends up greeting them and ends up escorting them to a creepy room that looked pretty much abandoned, where they could set up their instruments, change into their outfits, and prepare for the performance. And shortly after, the bride herself arrived with several of her friends to greet the band and to go over the set list for the evening. But as the band spent more time around them, something began to feel extremely wrong. They started noticing that the skin of the bride and her friends looked unusually rough, and whenever they stayed close to them, the performers felt strangely short of breath, almost like the air around them was heavy. But still, they dismissed the feeling and continued to prepare for the wedding. And at first, everything went smoothly. People were singing to the songs, everybody was dancing. Overall, they were having a pretty good time. But the moment the clock struck midnight, the atmosphere completely changed. The noises coming out from the guests became strange, almost animalistic. Their voices got louder than normal and increasingly aggressive. Then things started to become a whole lot worse. This is where it gets crazy. Some of the women that were dancing in the guest area began lifting their skirts as they danced, until one of them ended up revealing a little bit too much. And that's when the band saw that the guests had goat legs. One of the performers fainted immediately. They had to be escorted to a different room. And it was there that she and Nora realized the horrifying truth. They weren't performing for regular human beings. They were ultimately performing for Gens. Terrified, Nora ended up telling the band,